Hey everyone, it's Cowbunger and I'm talking about Kirby Air Riders again. The last video I did on this game did very well, so today I'm gonna get into some reckless speculation involving one detail in the recent Kirby Air Riders Direct. I haven't watched any analysis videos from other creators, so pardon me if this has been speculated on by someone else, but there's one thing coming out of that Air Riders Direct that I saw nobody react to and nobody talk about. I reacted to it, and it's been something that's been sticking in my head since. Roll the clip.
The sound. Oh, the music. You can't just do it. Oh, Meta Knight. Oh, Meta Knight's also my main.
Alright, so I recognized some music and then moved on. I feel like this music is much more significant than people realize though. Let me explain. First of all, where does this music come from? It is the final boss music from Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. It specifically plays during Phase 2 of Dark Mind's boss fight. Alright, so big whoop, right? It's a remix. Sakurai always brings back songs in Smash games, so I'm sure it'll be some kind of unlockable song like in the original Air Ride. Look, I kinda doubt that. I know that in Smash, for example, they kinda just have remixes in there and their only purpose is to be fan service and play on any particular stage. Kirby Air Ride didn't really work that way though. If a song was in that game, it was for a specific purpose. Even remixes had their purpose. They played in appropriate situations. So what I'm trying to say is that there's a Dark Mind remix in the game, maybe, probably because we're going to fight Dark Mind in this game. Which is crazy because Dark Mind hasn't really come back in previous games, and at this point it feels like everybody has come back at some point. The closest we have gotten to Dark Mind coming back is the Dark D-Mind fight in Super Kirby Clash. Yeah, remember that game? Nah, me neither. And boss fights are one of my favorite things about Kirby. Anyway, as you can see, this is King Deity possessed, so it's not the pure, unaltered Dark Mind. My next question was, where are we gonna fight Dark Mind if that really is the reason his boss music is in the game? I see two options. One is that he is an event during City Trial. I think that there's a good possibility of that. I've been looking through Gamescom footage of Kirby Air Riders and there was an event or two that was not featured in the Direct. So there are definitely events that we do not know about, and maybe a Dark Mind one is one of them. I feel like that's the boring answer though. There's another option that I hope is the case. At the end of the Direct, we saw this fella. There's been lots of speculation on who this guy is, and I think I've personally come to the conclusion that they are a new character. My theory is just that they are a new dark matter creature that is an amalgamation of a bunch of other characters. We'll see how right I am in mid-September, I guess. But I think most people also agree that this is a hint towards a big single-player mode being added in Kirby Air Riders. Maybe something with a story to it. There was no story in the original game, and I'm very curious as to what a story mode would look like in Kirby Air Riders. Will it be like Diddy Kong Racing and Crash Team Racing where it has a hub world and boss fights? I'm pretty confident in the boss fight aspect of it thanks to the music. I just wonder how Dark Mind fits into things. Maybe this new entity can mold itself into any shape it wants, and maybe it'll be able to create dark versions of Kirby's past enemies? One thing I commented about was the lack of marks in this new game, and maybe he'll be a boss fight too. Dark Mind could definitely be a fun boss. I think that's what I personally want this to be. Imagine you go through his mirrors during the fight to teleport closer to him to attack him maybe. Portal functionality is in City Trial after all. I'm pretty excited to see what can possibly come out of this for sure. Having a kart racer exclusive to Switch 2 with single player content that actually has some substance to it would be nice. And I must say, I've gone back to play a bit of Kirby Air Ride now that this sequel has me hyped up, and one thing I will say is that outside of the checklist and randomness of City Trial, there isn't really much substance to the original game. Within a couple hours of playtime, you pretty much experience most of what the game has to offer, and I can understand how some people didn't cling onto the game because of that. If there is a single player mode in Kirby Air Riders, I think that will help it a lot. It will make the game more memorable and replayable. Of course, online's gonna help it be really replayable too, but I think having single player really helps. Who knows, maybe you can play that online too with a couple friends, I don't know. I'm sure we'll get a preview of what this new character is all about and if there is a story mode before the game comes out, so you can all come back to this video and tell me how right or wrong I was. While I'm here, let's talk about some other music I noticed that could be giving some hints.
なぜエアライドの新作を私が作ることになったのかというと、任天堂のソフト開発責任者である高橋さんと当時の春研究所社長の水原さんにぜひともと強くお願いされたからです。その頃私はスマブラスペシャルのダウンロードコンテンツ制作に忙しく、とても手がつけられなかったのですが、マッハで企画書を完成させました。この辺りについては私のチャンネルでご紹介。
This sounds like some kind of hub world music, man. I'm just saying.
カービィだけは4つのスペシャルがあり、色を選ぶことで使い分けられます。まあ主役ですからね。そしてしれっとキャピーが混じっています。
Vegetable Valley from Kirby's Adventure is in the direct. It wasn't in the original game, so it might be an unlockable song. This is the type of song I could see playing in a regular race course. Dark Mind's theme isn't just gonna play on any racetrack, in my opinion. This sounds very similar to the Item Bounce song from the original game. Item Bounce is a silly song, just don't find the song on YouTube and look at the comments. And throughout the whole direct, there are some songs from Kirby Air Ride playing. Some of them are remixes and some of them are the original compositions from Kirby Air Ride. Again, that lends credence to the idea that these songs are coming back to play in the exact same ways that they did in the first game. And any new music added will be playing on new race courses or during new scenarios. The remixes sound amazing, by the way. I really couldn't be happier to hear new Smash quality remixes of these songs I've grown up with and loved all my life, basically. Actually, fun fact, you guys remember when Smash Ultimate was getting updates on its website leading up to release? Remember when a preview of the City Trial remix was posted on there? I had to have listened to that preview for multiple hours on multiple days leading up to release. I was so excited to hear a full version of that remix, especially since the preview cut off right at my favorite part and I could just tell it was going to sound so good. Alright, that's all I have today. Thanks for watching. I'm going to leave you all with a question. If there are boss fights in Kirby Air Riders, who do you want to see make the cut? Besides Marks, I've always had a soft spot for Queen Sectonia. If her boss fight music got a remix, man, I would be jumping up and down out of pure joy. Let me know if you want to see more Air Riders content. I'm sure I could pump out more stuff if I really wanted to. Otherwise, you can subscribe to watch me play the Switch 2 edition of Kirby and the Forgotten Land on stream, among other Nintendo related stuff. Of course, I showcase platform fighting game content on the channel as well if that interests you. Thanks to StreamU and EXO for being paid channel members. Get some exclusive content and videos one day early by supporting me today, or whenever you can. Doesn't matter to me. Bye.